Okay, team, welcome back to the Anchor of the Week, where we have hard conversations, hear people's stories, and challenge perspectives.
Yeah, we do.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Courtney.
And we are the Anchor of the Week. So, team.
We are still in Norway.
And it's a glorious sunny day where we are chatting to random strangers we've never met before, hearing about Norway.
Exactly. Seeing what life is like from their perspective. Yeah, it's going to be really awesome.
Yeah, buzzing for it. So let's tune in to the first epi.
Yes. Cool. All right, so I am here with my new friends here in this park, beautiful, sunny area. Can you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, my name is Rani.
Hello, Rani.
Andrea.
And Mona.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for chatting with us today. You said that you're from just outside of Oslo, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you still have Norway culture, you know,
Yeah,
like you.
of course.
Yeah. But we are so interested to hear about what it is like to be a young adult in Norway these days. So if I was to tell you, okay, like, what is being a Norwegian young adult like? Like, what are the first things that come to your mind?
Well, drinking, obviously.
Really?
It's a big part of our culture is obviously drinking. It's if going to party, it's obvious that you're supposed to be drinking. Like, you have to bring alcohol, and well, we have the Rus, of course, and yeah. Do you have any?
I don't know. I'm a student.
You're a student.
So yeah. We hang in the park. Oh yeah. Is it close enough?
It's good. It's great.
Okay. Yeah. We're hanging in the park like we do now. We're together. Yeah. I don't know.
It's a lot of community,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's,
yeah.
So yeah, right now we're studying, so or going to the university. So it's a lot of studying, being with friends, and exams. And
Yeah, well, I can imagine. Yeah, that's great. I'm really interested. You said that like it's almost like expected that everyone like drinks. Have you ever gotten to a situation where you did not necessarily want to, but felt kind of that like that pressure? Or is it everyone usually okay and like understanding?
There's always some people that feel like that like don't want to drink, and they kind of feel like they kind of become the outcast because they feel like if they don't drink, they're not allowed to come in a way, because like what's the point of you coming if you're not drinking?
Right.
So it's kind of like if you don't drink, you don't come in a way. So that's kind of a big part of our culture in a way as young adults.
Right.
And it is a problem in a way because we want everybody to be included.
Yeah.
And we want to be inclusive, but sadly it's what is happened, and
Yeah.
I feel like in Scandinavia, like Sweden, Denmark, and Norway, it's a lot of like drinking culture. Yeah, it's very normal to drink at every occasion. So
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's different in every friend group, because in some friend groups it's allowed to not drink. I have gone to a lot of parties without drinking because I'm going to wake up early the next morning or something like that. So it's okay, but then you have to be in the right mindset to have fun, even though everybody's drunk.
Well, it's true though, right? But it sounds like, I mean, this is the same, I think, everywhere, but like everyone wants that sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And especially when you're young, you know, like you kind of do whatever, right, to feel accepted. So that is, I mean, I think that's universal things. It's definitely in London and in Canada, where I'm from as well. So that's really cool. But hopefully that you guys all have good friends and that you are good friends where you can kind of feel supported no matter what. But something else I wanted to ask was, what is something that you would maybe generally say your age group or your friend group like is something that you would like to see changed in Norway, whether that's in culture, in politics, something that you guys can see and say, I don't like the way that is, and we need to change that. Is there anything that you can see? It could be tradition, society, politics, just, I know it's kind of a heavy topic.
It's of course a lot of things you want to change. But one thing, I don't know.
I think maybe like Norway or Scandinavia at all. It's just very like to fit in. So I think maybe like it was more possible to stand out a bit more. I feel like just where we come from, it's a bit better than in Oslo, because in Oslo it's a very like pop culture, and it's just like a uniform.
Interesting.
Almost, to like fit in, and you have to have expensive clothes and all that.
And it's kind of because I study in Bergen.
Okay.
But I'm from around here, and it's almost the same there too. Like
Really?
everybody dressed the same in a way, and it would kind of be fun if more people stood out. And
Why do you think people are uncomfortable to stand out?
well, you want to fit in, right? It's
Right.
like the same with the drinking problem.
Right.
You want to fit in. You want to be a part of a group. So. And that's a huge problem in Scandinavia as a whole, because the fact that you don't want to be alone, and it's just a huge problem, I guess.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like if you stand out, you're kind of the uncool people. So
Right.
if you want to be one of the cool ones and be invited to things, you have to fit in.
Right.
But if you're one of the ones that stand out, you automatically just become one of the unpopular people.
Right.
But where I come from, I'm from a pretty small place, Vikersund. It's where the ski.
The big
yeah,
ski thing?
Yeah.
Yes, I heard about that. I've seen
Yeah.
pictures.
And my friend group, we're almost everybody stands out. So we're kind of the uncool group that's big, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anyway. Yeah.
But I see that other people struggle with it, so
Yeah.
it's sad.
Yeah. It is sad. But I guess no one really wants to be lonely,
No.
right? So I think that's an interesting point. But, okay, like let's bring other people in. And I think
Yeah.
that's a really good challenge for everyone when we see someone that like maybe is standing out a bit, that we can also remember like, hey, like, that's okay. Like, and extend that arm to them.
Yeah.
I don't want to end it like on a super depressing note though. So can you tell me your favorite thing about Norwegian culture? The thing that makes you go like, yes, I am so proud to be Norwegian.
The Norwegian summers, for sure.
I'm loving it so far.
I just love the vibe it gives, like especially in the south, in Kristiansand.
We were just there yesterday.
And,
so, yeah.
And in places like Kristiansand, Larvik, because I have a camping spot there, and I just absolutely love the vibe, and like swimming and just living your life, camping out, and just living your life as a young adult, and hanging with your friends, listening to old tunes, new tunes,
Yeah.
drinking, not drinking, just
Both are acceptable.
Yeah, of course. And just living in the now, and just having fun. It's just so, and just like exploring life and just living.
Yeah.
I just love it so much, and I feel like Norway gives so many opportunities to do just that as a country.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And that's and that way don't necessarily have to be afraid all the time. Like I feel like it's a pretty safe place to kind of do whatever you want. But we don't have to like be I often think about the USA, and like I would be so scared if I were there, and that would not be fun. So I'm glad we can just go outside and don't be scared to go outside, and
Same? Amazing. So Norway's a pretty safe country. That's good to know.
That's also kind of a bit of a biased perspective from us Norwegians, because
Yeah.
it's scary in the US, but maybe not that much as But
Are you like kind of taught that like the US is
well,
like
yeah,
lower?
I've
I'm Canadian, so
'cause,
honestly
like,
it doesn't
I've-
matter. So
I've been to the States, so like I have seen how it is, but like I know what she means when she says what she's saying, but yeah, like I feel like we're biased in a way, but also from what we're seeing through social media, it is scary.
Yeah.
And I feel like the US is going to, can I cuss? Like,
Yeah, you can. It's okay.
it's going to hell basically. It's going to shit, and that's also why I'm happy. I'm from Norway and I live in this country, and
Yeah, well, I mean, things are definitely crazier over there.
yeah, it is
But
for sure.
they're also a lot less structured than here, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there's pros and cons to both.
Definitely, of course.
But it's really interesting when you like think about the country that you're from and
Yeah.
the way that because for me as a Canadian, I was taught that we are way superior than Americans.
yeah, of
But then,
course.
but then I moved away and I was like, wait a minute, like no, like we have this wrong and that wrong and this
Yeah.
wrong, and so I think it's always
There's
really
always
interesting.
something wrong
Yeah.
with your country, and you're
Yeah.
always biased, especially
Exactly.
when you live there yourself.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Good and bad, and there's definitely
Yeah.
things that we can appreciate. But that's been super helpful for me though to figure out more about Norwegian culture. Super excited that you guys talked to us, and yeah, thank you so much for your time.
It's been a pleasure.
Mic check. We good? Nice. Right, we are here with my friend. I'm going to let you introduce yourself because I don't want to pronounce your name wrong. So just if you could just say your name and what you do. Obviously, it's a little bit clear, but yeah.
My name is Constance, and I'm standing outside the what is called in England palace in Norway. Yes, that's my job.
How long you been doing this for?
Soon 1 year.
Wow, awesome. So at the moment you're doing this, is there like a higher steps to get to? Are you trying to get to a certain position, or is this just you quite enjoy doing this?
This is only for 1 year in the military.
Okay.
So I'm done next week actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so soon. Wow, we caught you a good time then. Brilliant. So we're obviously visiting Norway, Oslo specifically. Tell us a bit about this place. What's special about it?
What's special about Norway? It's a beautiful country, I think, and nice people. People always come and talk to you, and everybody's nice. And it's beautiful mountains and the ocean and everything.
Brilliant. Yeah, we've noticed that as well actually. Everywhere we go, it's nice greenery scenes. So we also want to look at kind of like what we're asking a lot of people is kind of what they think could improve almost in Norway, or the things that they would like to see change is probably a better way to explain it. Have you got anything on that list, or?
Not that I can think of, but maybe that some people are pretty shy.
Okay.
Can be like on the bus, you don't go and sit with the other one.
Right. Like people keep to themselves a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with your, I guess, with your job now, is it first of all, is it voluntary, or do you have to serve it?
It's I have to.
Okay.
Yes, but it's pretty fun sometimes.
Okay.
So yeah.
So it's not a Okay, so you haven't done this yourself then. Okay, so because I was just gonna go down the route of like the idea of like, because normally when you join the military, obviously you're fighting for something. So let's take you out of the military then. What are you going to be fighting for post-military after you're done with your duty?
I'm not sure yet, but I have to find out sometimes. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. Is there anything like you're particularly passionate about or would like to see happen?
I like to train a lot, so
Like gym training?
yes.
Wow, hey, same.
That's fun, so maybe something like that,
Okay.
in that, yeah.
Like a personal trainer or something like that.
Yeah, that could be fun. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Sorry, just a bit more about like then the military then. How old do you have to, is it you get to 18 you have to start serving, is that right?
Yes, 18 or 19.
And for how many years?
1.
Okay. And then you're just,
Yes, and you can keep on if you want to, but not that many want to. It's enough with 1 year.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Is it compulsory for men and women?
Yeah, Yes, it's pretty many women now these days.
It's what? Sorry, say that.
Many women
Okay.
that's in the military.
Right. Okay.
So
Is that something they're trying to push and they're trying to change?
yes.
Right. Okay. Wow. I feel like that's really rare from what we. Yeah, that's not a thing anywhere else. I feel like. Do you know the reasons for that, or?
Not actually, just like that's how the what is called how these days like likestilling. What's in English? I don't know.
What's the Norwegian way of saying
Likestilling.
it? So if you're listening and you know Norwegian, you know what she meant. That's fine. Just last couple questions then. Appreciate your time. So what was I gonna ask? About the. Oh man, about the military. Oh, what was my question? Wait. Lucas, you'll have to cut this out. What was my question? Oh, this is so frustrating. Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry. Lucas, if you're watching this, you can just cut that last little bit out. Cool. So, obviously, I'm visiting Norway. I'm new. You've talked about what's good. Give me some things that I should be doing now I'm here. Like a bucket list or something.
Oh, that's hard. I'm not from this city, so I don't know.
Just for Norway in general, then.
know in general. Go on a mountain.
Okay.
And maybe go on ocean, take a boat.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
You can also just sit in a park, like, and just chill.
So very nature-related type things, yeah. Brilliant. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Brilliant. Right, we have the three musketeers, is that what we're calling you guys? Yes, yeah. Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on. If you could just quickly introduce yourselves and then we'll dive in.
Yeah, I can start. I'm Stian and Isabel. We have just moved here in mainstream Oslo, where we're all in our age, all actually wants to live. So we're one of the crowded people there.
Yeah.
And we have you.
Yeah. My name's Ben. I grew up in Norway. I currently live in Colorado.
Colorado Springs? No.
No.
Okay, cool.
Just
Just
outside
I got a
Norway.
friend there, so that's it. Yeah. Nice, brilliant.
Yeah.
So we're just chatting. We're getting different people on, and we're just talking about Norway in general. What's good, what's bad. You know, not what's bad, but also just things that we could see it improving.
What you can judge.
Yes. I mean, we'll start with that. Just not to put it down on things, but we also will love to challenge perspectives. So, what is Norway like? What do you guys? How would you describe the kind of feel, the vibes over here?
Do you want to start?
For starter, it's a beautiful country. It's nice, it's clean, it's everything, but it's almost that they're going overboard.
Okay.
Yes, we have it nice, but it's to be the person you really want to be. You have to really stand out, and you really have to stand for yourself, because it's not the normal things that people would actually do. Because people will kind of judge you for not being perfectly how they want it.
Right.
And that can be kind of annoying sometimes, and that's the things we kind of missed from other countries, because there we can actually see people are their self, even though what others says about it. So yeah, that's a start.
Yeah.
I agree a lot. I'm very thankful that I was born in Norway. I just want to say that.
Absolutely,
I definitely am, because all of the, you're very safe, you're very protected. You get, if you're sick, I mean, it's the best place in the world to be sick.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, everyone takes care of you, and I'm 100% thankful for that. The only thing is that, like, it almost is like you, fornærmer, hjelp meg. Insult. If you try to talk about doing different things.
Right.
Because it's like, well, why would you ever want anything else than safetyness in a way? Which is kind of where my identity crisis is at the moment. Because it's like, but yeah, I'm safe, but right now I'm more like in the age where I kind of want to be not so protected all the time and so watched all the time.
Yeah, right. To make your own decisions, to make your own actions, stuff like that.
Sure.
Right.
Go your
Own path, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think you're very free to do that. I mean, first of all, like, this is like a fantastic, like, hyper functional country. Like, it's amazing. It just
But you have to tell your story though, because it's interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, I moved away like a few years back to first to Boston and then to Colorado, and I've been to many countries and seen a lot of things, and so that gives you a kind of it's a perspective,
much bigger perspective. Yeah, for
from
sure.
the inside and the outside all alike, and like Norway is a hyper functional country, possibly like the best place to live.
Sure.
In kind of like objective terms. So there's really little to complain about. Although socially, I think what we're getting at is that it's a very like socially conformist kind of culture.
Yeah.
Where there's a very well established set of like social norms and that sort of thing. And I think for many people who find that they maybe fall a little bit on the wayside from that,
right,
they might take issue with it. I mean, I personally have, although it's like fantastic to be back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Like if you're not like everyone else, or if you don't want to do everything the way that other people do, then you kind of stand out very easily.
And
is that right?
And, and there's tall poppy syndrome to an extent as well. I mean, okay, so don't quote me on the exact study because I don't remember, but sociologists have rank ordered countries by level of social conformity, and Norway scores very high. So it's more comparable possibly to like somewhere like South Korea or Japan. Okay. More so, I'd venture to say, than maybe other Western European countries. And I think much of Scandinavia functions that way. And I mean, it sits on sort of like this Fennoscandian peninsula. It's not continental, so it has a different vibe to it than the rest of continental Europe. And so that's I don't want to call it provincial necessarily because I mean there's this massive like culture of exploration and that sort of thing, like spanning back to the beginning of time. But
it sounds from just what you guys are saying very safe and very kind of, if you do want to go and do your own thing, you're quite limited to that. Is that right?
Only socially, not materially.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing. Like, because like for me, I'm a very creative person, and I've always wanted to do something creative. That's been my passion since forever. And the people around me have been very like, ooh, but that's kind of scary. Like, how are you gonna get like steady income? All of these types of things. And I'm sure you hear that from parents all around the world. Sure. But then you have a nearby community that does it, and you can just go there. But to me, living like growing up in a small town in Norway, it's been hard socially because like I have no one near me that does it. Everyone's a nurse, everyone's kindergarten teacher, which is great. And the people that are very happy with that. But for me that don't like fit into those categories, it can feel kind of but I've just moved to Oslo. I'm sure it's better here. But
sure.
It's how I just that's my...
Yeah, that's the difference from the cities and the small towns, because in the small towns it's very common that everyone is kind of falling from, not falling too far from the tree. So everyone that's have grew up in the small towns, they stay there and they work with those with the normal jobs, showing up at the same place every day, the same hours, and the same income, and they're kind of happy with that. They stay with that. They don't explore so much because it's not so. It's not like it's kind of hard to see the bigger pictures when you're kind of staying just in these local societies. Because they don't invite you kind of to explore other places, to explore other options.
And they don't inspire you to take chances. That's the thing. Like there's so many things that you can get into that you would just like get a job right away. You never have to worry. But it's like, but it's not the kind of life that I want to live.
And I mean, there's also inequality here, even though it's a very equal society. I mean, just go west of here and compare it to the eastern part of the city. People in the western suburbs oftentimes will have very wealthy parents, which is, even in a relatively equalized egalitarian society such as Norway, like those old-time kind of like inequality aspects of any society, like they're still there. So there's still like class issues and like political divides and that sort of thing. So oftentimes I think that outside of Norway, like there's this picture of Scandinavia as being sort of this utopia, and like I can totally understand why that's the case. But as in life, like no place is a nirvana. So this place also has its issues. As anywhere else.
Yeah.
So.
Something we looked at recently as a team was traditions and how things are passed on from generations to generations, even just generational values and how that's shifted. Do you think here, it sounds like it's always stayed the same? What we found with other places is like things have adjusted. If my parents were really focused on stability, then I was very focused on freedom because I saw such an extreme side to that. It sounds like here, I mean, this is just making an assumption from what you guys are saying and sharing, but like the things have stayed very constant, and I think maybe yourself have seen an extreme side of something, and this is kind of like how your generational value is changing slightly. Is tradition such a big thing here in Norway? Are things passed down?
We don't have so many traditions, but the traditions we have, we kind of very stay true to.
Okay.
Like our national day and our bunad and brunost, you don't mess with those things.
Right,
But
right.
that's kind of the only thing we have.
Okay.
And are proud of, because I wouldn't say that Norway has such a long history, but of the traditions we have, we
You stay true to it, yeah.
And that's also kind of what's happened with our parents and their older generation. They stay true to their traditions, and they want us to do what kind of they have done.
Right.
They don't want us to go another path that they don't are used to or known to. So it's they often kind of want you to be mostly safe than take chances for something greater. Someone are of course very very kind of pushy and supportive to that, but it's very normal that they actually want you just to be safe.
Yeah.
And then you might not do what you want to do, but you do what your parents want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what we all have.
But it's kind of weird too, because this is clearly like a super safe country. We're very blessed. So what bothers me with like the people around me are like, why are you so worried about me? What's the worst thing that can happen? I can try out as an artist and do creative things in this country, and if it fails, I'm in Norway.
Yeah, sure.
It'll be fine. I'll be fine. If it doesn't work out, there's plenty of things that I can get into that just like I'll always be safe. So I it's just the constant worrying about like being, you know.
So it's really they it sounds like they prioritize stability but they're moving in fear. So it's like a difference. It's like it's not being stable for stability itself, but it's moving and doing life out of fear rather than stability.
And especially like if you want to go to other countries, for example, if you have like, oh, I would like to go this and do that in a different country, that's very like, oh, but different countries, they're different. It's like, you know, you might not be as safe and protected there. So that's even scarier. So that also limits you a little bit into like, you know, the fishbowl. The fishbowl is very nice. The fishbowl, you have everything you need. You have, you know, you're always safe. But the ocean looks kind of tempting then, because it's like, you know,
so big.
It's so big, and you can do anything, and it's so open and free. So and that's probably maybe something that you felt when.
Yeah, I would say so, and I think the proper perspective on Norway too, like we have to take historical context into mind talking about this, because I mean this was it wasn't a wealthy, I mean by no means like the rest of the world wasn't wealthy either 100 years ago, but Norway has definitely, I mean, it struck gold with the oil and has managed the oil wealth very, very well from an economic standpoint. And that's why it sort of ran into this prosperity relatively recently. And so I'd say about traditions, like, and I'm studying data science right now, so like I'll make a tech analogy where the hardware has sort of stayed in place in terms of stodgy proper ways of doing things and traditions, and some of them are obviously like sitting in my May 17th, Constitution Day, like that's like a North Star, like, but even Christmas, like everyone here does the more or less the exact same thing, sort of dresses up, and like these traditions are very ingrained, whereas the software's kind of been switched out, where there's, I mean, this is by no means a Christian country, although it models it after the Lutheran Church, like people have confirmations and that sort of thing. Right. But I would critique Norway a little bit, where like material wealth and modernity are very highly valued. That's why you see all the new buildings around here. Right. Some of them are architecturally, like they're just astonishingly bad. Like you know, like some of the new museums they put in. It's so this like sort of worship of modernity, I think, and there's a duality there, kind of like rejecting many of the old traditions while holding on to others. Like in that sense, like it's a complexity that kind of arises whenever you have a society sort of like run into like obscene wealth like this. You know?
I had a conversation like that where I talked to some of the people in my small hometown, where I said that I could live in a trailer if I could just live off my paintings. I would be fine. I don't need lots of money. I don't need lots of wealth. If I can just like make money off of being creative, I can live in a trailer. I'll be fine. And I get the reaction that is like they don't even believe me. Like, okay, but if you actually ended up there, you wouldn't have been happy. But it's like, I would. I would be fine.
Sure. Then they come with that. But what about the stability, the safeness, that you have your stable house and the four walls, and they come with these things because that's what's valuable for them, but not necessary for us.
Yeah. I think it's because you mentioned you guys have traveled a bit. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that makes actually a big difference to your guys' perspective, because when you go to a different country or other cultures, you see how things are done differently, and it really does.
People are happy.
Yeah,
people are happy even if they don't
you
have
see them with
everything.
a smile, and kind of what I think when I traveling to Peru, I'm in the Andes, and then we living in the kind of these mud houses and stuff.
Yeah.
Because then it's almost a bit primitive. But I see they don't know how it is to live in Norway.
Yeah.
But the way they live there with working every day and kind of it's eat, sleep, repeat, and they smile. They are happy. And they kind of this is what they do, but they do it in a way they can enjoy their life, they can enjoy what they're doing, but then when we are there and see how happy they are, and then coming back to Norway and kind of feel okay, I know I have hard times here sometimes, but I can't complain when I see how the other have in other countries like in Peru, because they are happy with that what they have. But why can't I be happy with what I got here? And that's kind of what gets pushed around here also, that you need to have things, you need to kind of have more and work more. That's kind of the thought that's common here, but in other countries and where they can actually you make the best of it, and you kind of get happy with what you have. That's kind of what's inspiring me from when I'm traveling to other places and can see how they are.
And I mean, Norway like has a very strong sort of in-group, out-group dynamic.
You can always mirror yourself to others there.
True. But just one like sort of final point. You know, people often talk about like all the really well-functioning welfare systems that are in place, and that's true. However, I think part of it is, and I think a sociologist, this is his name, the comedian Harald Eia, he did a series on Norwegian culture, and what they talked about there was like maybe part of it is actually selfishness, because in other cultures it's very ingrained in your culture that that as a family you have to take care of each other, whereas in Norway you sort of outsource the problem to the social welfare state, so then instead of having to rely on relatives and your local community, you can just kind of go to the government and sort of it's kind of big daddy government takes care of you, you know, and that,
like I said, it's like having rich, strict parents.
But the parent is also the government, which I think, you know, not to complain, because hey, like it's a system that really clearly works, but with the caveat that like in terms of you know, community building and stuff like that, it does definitely take away some of that community feel that you can see in other cultures where there's more privation and where you can just sort of go to the government and get what you need. So.
Brilliant. So just to wrap up, man, love this. Seriously, love this. I think like our big thing here is obviously we like to attack the topics and not the people, and challenge perspectives. So with this conversation, I hope that people are challenged with the perspective, rather than it being like it's this or it's that. It's more like, okay, like if someone's looking at this much more from the other side, they hear this and they're challenged in their perspective, and hopefully can look at this from new eyes. And same for you guys, obviously, if you're listening it from their perspective. But thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate that, and it was so nice to hear a different perspective.
Time in Norway.
Yes, thank you. It is. This is lovely country. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. What amazing conversations.
Yes.
They were very vastly different.
Super different.
But that's what we love.
And that's what we came for.
Yes. Anything stand out to you super specifically, Zach?
You know what? I think it showed. I think especially that last interview we had really showed, actually, like, it made sense with the first couple conversations we had.
Yeah.
Well, particularly the second and third one, but just how different the perspectives are, and kind of talking about that fishbowl perspective. And that's not to say that the second one was in a fishbowl as such, but it just showed, like, okay, there are two very different sides to where people are at. Yeah, I think it just proved that just from the difference in the conversation.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, I don't know, we're not from here, obviously, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
But so I came with a specific, okay, this is what Scandinavian culture is like.
Yeah.
But again, like, we're so quick to just box things in, like, to what we assume they're like. And so hearing everyone's different sides to it, or just their view of it, we literally challenge perspectives. Was really helpful for me to be like, oh, okay, so not everyone thinks this way, or I would assume everyone would react to the structure, because I would react to the structure, but maybe not everyone is. You know, maybe some people actually thrive in it.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was just really cool.
Yeah. And it's super interesting how, like, because, you know, obviously we did a couple episodes ago about generational values and traditions and how that's passed on. And it really feels like things have been passed on pretty well here, or at least, like, they hold true to a value, like, well.
Yeah.
And it's obviously in that last interview, it's kind of worked in a negative way and been too extreme for them. So now they're searching for freedom, or searching for that almost opposite side. But I wonder why or how they've been able to install this same thing.
Yeah, because there's definitely a certain aspect that's really good, you know?
Yes, yes. And I wonder if it's the fact that it's just because it's safety. You know, look at this. This is beautiful. You know, how can you want to get away from something like this?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I wonder what those things are that keep this same values across, and people actually stick to them. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think there's probably a certain point that's like they can actually see the value of the value, if you will, because this is a beautiful country that
super
runs
visible.
Smoothly and like. But I think as well, a lot of it is fear, because what happens if you leave that safety?
Yeah.
You know, like, what if things don't run quite as smoothly?
Yeah.
So I think it's a little mix of everything.
It is, yeah.
As is every country.
Yeah.
So
I also wonder how many people have gone out abroad and traveled and seen stuff.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like that will change your perspective on just how you see life in general.
Absolutely.
Whether you have faith or not, don't have any faith or religion or whatever. I think just going to a different country really opens your eyes, and it almost broadens your perspective of, like, life's values and like what people should really be valuing almost. You know, you go to a poorer country and straight away you cherish what you have back at home, or you value that so much more. So there must be an element of that somewhere. I don't know. Who knows? Do people in Norway travel much? Who knows?
That's next week's episode. We'll take a poll.
Yeah.
But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed all these conversations as much as we did. Honestly, I'm blown away by Norway. The people, amazing.
Amazing.
The weather, what the heck?
We've had the best time here.
I know.
Yeah.
We're so excited. Sad to leave, but we're excited.
Yeah.
To have been here, and hopefully we'll be back sometime.
Yeah.
So, but you know, in the meantime, while we're not in Norway, where can they find us?
They can find us on YouTube and all podcast platforms, as well as Instagram and TikTok at the Anchor of the Week. So check us out, team.
Yes. Remember, we are the Anchor of the Week, where we attack topics and not people, and we will see you next week.